Hi, I'm Jon Blower, and this is the Jon Blower Podcast with my very first guest, Gary Maloney.
Hello there.
Thank you very much, mate. It's been a pleasure. Can't wait for this to go on air.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think it was good.
Excited. Gary Maloney, father, husband, dream boy, teeth whitening technician, and entrepreneur.
I know,
bro. Mate. It's, you know what?
You normally say a lot more than that about me, didn't you?
I thought I'd be nice.
You've cut that back.
I thought I'd be nice. I thought I would be nice. Do you know what? When I was getting ready to do this show, I had like my dream list.
Yeah.
You know, and you was top, mate. And
I was a nightmare list, was I? Or
yeah, everyone else was busy. Everyone else was sunbathing today, mate. Everyone.
Last option.
But no, mate, thank you so much for
coming
on.
You're welcome, mate. It's nice to get out of the house.
Honour, mate. Yeah, well, yeah, that's true, isn't it? That is true. Yeah, what a year. But do you know what? Because this is my first one, I've written like a little list, like a direction.
Yeah.
Because, you know, there's some people and they can just spiel it all off, and I was like, I want a little bit of structure. Although, to be honest, we've known each other long enough that...
So what you're trying to say is you're going to try and be professional. I probably won't work. I think you should just be you. Because
just be me?
Yeah, I think so. I think that works better. Because if you and me try and be professional, I think it will backfire.
Right. Let's do that then.
And your list is probably not in order either, I
We're going to throw my list out of the window. We'll just start with, when did you look down at your dick and realise that you could be a stripper?
Well, it was a very cold Sunday morning. No, do you know what? In regards to stripping, it wasn't a case of looking down and thinking, oh, you know, it was a friend of mine many years ago in the gym, which was about 200 yards from here.
Yeah.
And he came up to me and he asked me what I did for a job. And at the time I was a HGV driver. So I was driving the big lorries. And he said to me, have you ever thought of being a stripper? And honestly, I thought he meant paint stripper. I did. Because at that point, I didn't know anything about strippers, apart from when my dad used to, but we won't go into that. Knew nothing about male strippers, right? So it went from there, and he said, look, I've seen you in the gym. You're bubbly, you're chatty, you've got good physique. I think you could do it. He made a point of saying, you know, I'm not gay, I've got a wife, I've got kids, I'm not hitting on you.
You weren't hitting on you, no.
No, unfortunately he wasn't. I wouldn't have minded, but, you know, there you go. Damn. But it went from there, and it took him... Believe it or not, because you probably wouldn't think that with me, but back then I was quite shy. Well, I wasn't. Yeah. And I still am and still ain't, depending on certain things, you know what I mean? But eventually, after about 6 months, he took me along to a photo shoot that we did, and I enjoyed that, but I'd never been in front of a camera or anything like that. But it's a weird thing with me. I never had any, this is long before social media, but I never had any pictures of me around, never liked pictures, anything like that. I weren't comfortable with it, do you know what I mean?
I can't imagine you not
I know, it sounds weird, but I've always kind of been like that. But I did that photo shoot, and I did enjoy it. We had a laugh, and then a little while after that, they talked me into doing a show in Brighton to go and watch it.
Okay.
Which I agreed I'd go along to, and then basically he kind of dropped it to me and said, "You're going on stage."
Well, so just out of the blue?
Yeah, out of the blue. And I was, you know, even sitting here now talking about it, I mean, that was 15 years ago now, and I'm just as terrified now talking about it as what I was when I found out that night. But what I will say, you never know, as you well know yourself, you never know what you're capable of doing and what you can achieve and what you can do. Because if you would have said to me 15 years ago, I'd go out on that stage and I'd perform. Even before I went out there, I was terrified. But it was a weird thing for me, because as soon as I got on the stage, all my nerves went. And I loved it. And I think it wasn't a full Monty strip back then. It was kind of just down to your pants, basically. In them days, we used to wear thongs. We don't wear them now.
Of course you did.
It's not politically correct anymore. But it was some really... I think mine was like an luminous yellow one, like the colours of your vape thing.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Nice.
There was some bright... In fact, that shelf was a lot like...
You're getting flashbacks from looking at that shelf.
What my thong looked like in the mid-90s. It really was.
Yeah.
But I went out on the stage, and I was meant to be on stage for about 3 minutes, and I think I was on stage for about 7 or 8 minutes, and I absolutely loved it.
Couldn't get you off?
No, and for me, the big thing was I love performing, but I love seeing the girls and the guys enjoying what I'm doing. That I get a buzz off. And I remember afterwards, like all shows, even now, when you come off stage and you mingle and you do pictures and stuff, and you know, I was getting not all great compliments. I was getting some not so good, but the majority of them were good. I remember going home that night buzzing, you know, like, and thinking, wow, this is something I've got to do. And it went from there, and that was it. So
That's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, it really was as simple as that. But if it wasn't for his persistence, really pushing me and talking me into it, I don't think I ever would have done it. So.
You'd still be driving trucks?
Probably, yeah, which was no good for my back, let me tell you.
Jeez,
yeah, man. Tough years.
No good for your... So rather than driving trucks, you went and played windmills with your willy.
Yeah,
and that was, is that better for your back?
A lot better fair, actually. Yeah, I mean, over the years using the pump, the weight did excel, so there was more pressure on the lower back.
That pump, do you know what? I'm going to stop you there. I remember, right, because when we had, do you remember Electric Lounge?
Yes.
So we done a ladies' night. Do you remember?
Did you walk in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I was upstairs, literally upstairs in our flat upstairs above the club,
getting ready,
and he's getting ready.
Yeah.
And I walked in. And he's literally
pumping up,
got a pump in his hand.
Yeah.
And he just turned around as if you just got a drink. Like, you all right, John? And he was literally, what time am I on?
Yeah,
and
do you know the great thing about penis pumps is
I'm wobbling.
you know the good thing about penis pump.
The good thing about penis pumps is you don't have to be in the mood when you use one. And thank God for that when John burst in.
Do you know what?
Because I may have lost.
My mum's watching this.
Hi, Mum.
Sorry, my mum was watching this. I'm going to tell her that
it took the nerves and the stress of it out backstage. So, but I can remember that actually. Now you brought that up, I can remember that.
Yeah.
That is definitely one of the tools of the trade. What every male performer
that is the
uses.
tool of the trade.
Yeah, without that, you're not going anywhere really.
Yeah, see, I haven't got a penis, but that's why I wear my clothes when I go into a club.
I can get you one. They're good.
You can?
Yeah, they do help.
Cool, wicked. Well, that's Christmas sorted for me and you then, isn't it?
Yeah, it's running the post.
Jeez. But you've been, how long have you been doing it now?
About 15 years I started. So yeah, very long time. And it went, when I first started, I mean, I'm a straight guy, wife, kids, but when I first got into it, started performing, it was all the gay venues. So it was all the gay circuits. So the bars and pubs from E14 to Stratford to King's Cross. And all the shows were in the week. So it was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and weekends you had off. And then as the years went on, it changed from all the gay venues, and one by one, sadly, a lot of them have closed down now. Not just gay pubs, but all pubs and stuff. And then it moved from kind of like all the gay venues and gigs to then being all the ladies' nights, and then hen parties and birthdays. And then going from kind of performing on a Tuesday night in like a club to being the surprise stripper at 12 o'clock in the afternoon in an office. Honestly, I've performed like in so many crazy places, in weird times of the day as well. Like I've done strips at 9 in the morning in back gardens. Like
was you invited to strip?
Yeah. Some of the times I just turned up. But it did. Honestly, and I'll tell you what got really big, apart from the obvious. But things that got really big was there was a time where I went for about 4 or 5 years. Every Friday, Saturday night, I did them on party buses.
Oh, really?
That was huge. But the funny thing is the party bus. I used to meet the party bus on Oxford Street. So I drive up in the car, right? And all the girls would be upstairs. And this is in the middle of Oxford Street, okay? So you can imagine how busy this is, right? So I would have to go to the back of the bus. Now, buses don't have any curtains or nets.
Yeah.
I'd have to crouch down, get me pump out, and naked, trying to get ready. While you've got God, you know what they're like up there doing cameras and stuff. And then literally I'll be getting ready while all the girls are upstairs. And then what I'll do, once I was ready, I would give the guy, back then it would be CD. And then have all the music systems on the bus. Put my CD in, music would come on, go upstairs. But I tell you what, it was a great buzz because you'd be in the middle of Oxford Street. Most of the time it was about 7 o'clock, all right? Still light. The lights were all going. The music was absolutely pumping like Attic would. And by the time I finished, I'd have sometimes 200-300 people waving in Oxford.
Really?
So I'd give them a willy wave and it would be, and the buzz from it, and you'd get all your stuff together, your clothes, you throw your stuff in a bag, and then you run on to the next one, but you'd come off the bus to like applause.
Really?
And for me, that was, near the end, they used to drive me mad, them buses, because you had to crouch down and it wasn't comfortable like a ladies' night. You go backstage, you're working with other performers, you've got the drag queen. But when I first started, I think they were probably the ones I enjoyed most. But then, after a while, I was a bit like, I don't think I can handle these parties. I think it was my back because I was crouched down in the corner and I'd be like, I'm thinking, what's he doing? Some funny times,
Tom.
And now it's all changed. Now it's Dream Boys Saturday night.
You're smashing. You're
now
Dream Boy.
There was tours. We did tours. We went everywhere around the country and stuff. Obviously, with wife, kids now. I do the London show on a Saturday night, and I'm kind of a little bit older and more sensible now. So I organise what guys are performing, what order. We go out and do a kind of like a routine together, a group routine. Then we do our separate solo shows. We've got the drag queen, and I'm a bit like you now. I'm kind of a bit more sensible. I've got to work out who's working and who ain't, and who's on holiday and who isn't. But I still love it like the first day. I enjoy it. I enjoy it. But
that's what I always said. As soon as you lose the buzz, that's when it's gone.
And do you know what? I've missed it. It's been a year. It's been a year now.
Because that's the thing. You was literally. You was the same as me. Because I was out 7 nights a week.
Yeah.
And you was the same every single night. And you're a massive people person.
Yeah, massively.
So you was out. Do you know what I mean? Anyone. You talk to anyone.
I've always said this, John. With me, I love performing and I love the stage, and I love all of that. But when you're on the stage and performing, it's more about you. The bit I loved the most was the bit afterwards. What I always love is you could have like a group of 18-year-old girls, but the ones that I found the funniest was the really old ladies. Because they don't give a monkeys, mate. They'd be like, come here, son, sit on my lap, and they'd be groping you and grabbing you and, and everything else. And they'd be in their 80s, 90s. Absolutely brilliant. And I'd sit there talking to them, there'd be a big group of grannies from Clacton. And I'd be sitting there and like for an hour. Mummy's like, where you been? I've been talking to grannies. Really? Yeah.
Of course you have. But now she knows.
And that's what I miss. That's what I miss the most. But hopefully, we'll get back to that now. Fingers crossed. There seems to be light at the end of the tunnel.
Well,
vaccines are coming in. And we can get back to a little bit more normality, isn't it?
Even we were talking before this. Today, just walking through town, walking past the parks, and there's people about.
It feels a bit more normal, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
It didn't 6 months ago, did it?
No.
It was...
even through, just sort of around Christmas time. Even with the sun out. I mean, this is going out on Saturday, but we're filming on Tuesday.
Oh, roasting today.
Which, if you remember, Tuesday, which is now, it's Sweatbox. And I even had to do today. Like, I was coming to meet you. We were meeting here at 4:30, or it was 4, but I told you 4 and I meant 4:30, and then I turned up late. But I was sat at home and I was sitting in the garden and I was like, I'm going to get an hour under the sun. And then I thought, I can't, because I'll end up coming in with this red blotchy face. And
see, I'm quite lucky like that. I trained in the garden and then sunbathed for a bit, so I'm all right. But it's probably partly because half of it is a fake tan I use.
Oh, well, there you go. Right. I can't wait, mate.
Listen, that's the other thing. The last year, no sunbeds, no tanning. So if you're out in the garden, weather's nice, or I've been using that Dove tanning moisturiser gear, anything to get a bit of tan, because you miss things like having a tan and the sun and everything. It's depressing.
That's it. What is it? April the 12th?
April the 12th, mate. Things will get back. Everything opens.
That's it, mate.
You can get a half decent haircut. You booked in with the barbers.
I have. I'm already done, mate. I've booked him with the barbers.
My hair is normally quite long, but my missus shaved it off, but I don't mind.
Yeah, you went all Britney, didn't you?
I just went bang, do it. And actually I don't mind, but I'm at that point now where it's like short, but not long enough. It's sort of in the middle. But I'm just going to let it grow.
You need to get like, that wet look gel that we used to use in the 90s.
Whack it on. Well, I was going to get a haircut before I came here, but I don't think I got enough time, so I didn't want to push it. But actually, I had about 2 hours.
You had about 2 hours, yeah. Sorry, mate. Everyone knows that if I say something, add an hour and a half on.
I'm the same.
And we're about there.
I'm the same, mate. I'm the same.
That's it. But, like you're saying, we've been locked down for a year. Light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, both of our misses, we've got a list as long as your thing in common, but your missus has worked solid.
She's worked right through. I mean, you know what? I must have known what I was doing when I married a nurse, mate, because she's helped me out no end. But the last year for Victoria, my wife, it has been a tough year for her. Like, there's no getting around it. But do you know what? It's times like this, like when your partner, your friends, you all pull together. And you know what? It has been tough for her, and it's been difficult for you and me and for everyone. But actually, I have found in the last year, it has brought a lot of people closer together. Like where we live on our road, every single neighbour knows everyone now. But before COVID and lockdown happened, no one really knew anyone. So there are some positives out of it. It's not all been negative, And I think COVID and the pandemic and lockdown has made you kind of like find new things and do things differently.
And do you know what? I found my priorities have changed now. I mean, I was like you, 7 nights a week. 6 days a week I was either in the shop, I was DJing, I was doing parties, I was setting this, doing this. And now I've sort of looked and I've thought, right, well, when we go back, do I need to do 7 nights a week?
Do you know what? Have you slowed down? Because I've slowed down. I've slowed down massively, and I've realised I don't have to actually be 100 miles an hour all the time. And today, yesterday, I started reading the book. And that's the first book I've read in over 25 years. I never read. No, and I thought, do you know what? I'm going to get a book. It's based on Paul Stewart, the footballer. I don't know if you saw that, but there was all the stuff that happened with the footballers, all the ones that got abused. There was loads of stuff that went on there, and they all came out. Paul Stewart was one of them players, and he played for Liverpool, he played for Tottenham. I saw him in the 91 Cup final. I watched him home and away score all the goals. Little did I know, in that cup final game, he scored the equaliser, but when we went behind in that game, he wrote in the book that he was still blaming himself that they were going to lose that cup final because of what happened to him when he was a kid. And it really makes you look at things and mental health and men and stuff. So I got that book, started reading it yesterday. I've done 100 pages already. Yeah. And amazing. But I thought because I said to Victoria, it was yesterday, I was reading it and she went, "You all right, babe?" I went, "Yeah." Read a few more pages. "You all right, babe?" I went, "Yeah." She goes, "I don't like this because you're really quiet. Yeah. You're not talking." I went, "Oh, am I sorry?" I was just so into the book. Yeah. And I think reading has been a good thing for people. All sorts of things like that where you can just escape. Yeah,
but like you said, like that mental health for men. Yeah. And I think, there's been so many damning issues on mental health in the past 12 months. Yeah. But I think the mental health awareness, like, "Are you okay, mate?" I think that has come in. Like you said, people know each other's names now. People give Listen, about each other.
There's always been that thing with men and mental health and you're too macho and you're too big. But like Paul Stewart is a prime example of that. That it wasn't him that came out first, it was another footballer. Yeah. But he came out and he was on TV and you could see the pain in his eyes and he bottled that up for like 35 years. And Paul Stewart had kept that a secret his whole life. And when he saw that, he thought, "No, I need to come out now." And then another footballer's come out and then all these things have come out. And he carried that weight with his wife and kids and everything else. And that's why people need to talk. And I was telling you about Claude from AFTV. Yeah. He took his own life yesterday. Yeah. He was on the show. He got taken off the show for whatever reasons. People were asking him if he was all right. Yeah, I'm fine. But he wasn't all right. No. But, I think it's important that people talk about it. And I think because of COVID and lockdown and stuff like that, I think more men are talking about it. And they need to talk about it.
100%. But what I mean? I'll ring you, for instance, "How you doing, mate?" Yeah. Whereas before it would have just been, "I'm all right."
Yeah. Well, you know what I'm like with a voice note on WhatsApp.
Oh, mate, do you know what?
Yeah, you can't get away with a text from me.
I could show you some voice notes. He has sent me 17 minutes, I think.
Let me tell you, if I had £1 for every time someone said what you said, say, "Do you know what, Gal? I never used to send voice notes until you sent me one. I would be a billionaire." Yeah. I do them all the time. But I do find them good for the simple reason where I find nowadays when people's phones ring, they're like
nervous. I still do.
Oh, I'm not going to answer that. They're ringing me. What do they want? Oh. Yeah. But if you send the voice note, it's so much easier.
Yeah, and you're still conversing, you're still talking.
Still conversing, you can listen to it in your own time, do what you need to do first, listen to it, and then reply back when you want. A phone call is just a little bit too much for people. Yeah. And I think it is as well in lockdown. I think a lot of people have found it difficult to pick up the phone and talk and stuff like that. But I think WhatsApp and messaging and stuff and social media has been good. There's a lot of bad things with social media. Of course. But then there's a lot of good things with it as well. Do you know what I mean? So yeah.
What do you think about Zoom?
Yeah, Zoom is good.
Do you like it?
Yeah, I like Zoom.
Zoom is literally the 21st century Marmite.
Yeah, I loved it. I did that with the YouTube channel I'd done the other week, and that was a Zoom call thing which lasted for nearly 2 hours and that. You had all the other guys there and stuff, and it was my first proper one. Although, tell a lie, in lockdown we did a few quiz things. Where we got my friend Julie from Mickenham and we got another friend and we all went on and we were doing quizzes and stuff like that. And we were doing that every Friday night and we did that for a few months. And it was quite nice because everyone was getting ready. We did a fancy dress night.
You still got dressed up?
Yeah.
Rather than literally being in your pants.
We did, I dressed up at I did, what's his face? Do you know Tiger King, Carol Baskin?
Of course you did.
I did Matey. Yeah. What's his name?
Tiger King.
Tiger King, I did him and I had the whole thing, the blonde hair. It was great. Loved it. And the little tiger thing I got from the neighbour next door, little teddy thing.
Mate, that's brilliant.
Yeah, but that was good. I think little things like those are things that you would never do.
No.
You would never do anything like that before it, would you?
No, exactly.
So I don't, I know a lot of businesses have suffered. I know work has suffered. We've suffered, all of that. But it's not all been bad. There have been some good things that have come out of it. So you have to try and hold on to those and, remember them.
It is. Even like like nature. I mean, there's places in Wales and they had deer that they hadn't seen for hundreds of years just walking along the road. Yeah. And there's animals that have taken back their habitat that we have,
Yeah, because like you say, there's no humans around as much, so we can come out.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we're allowed to walk down the road now. Yeah, but it's crazy. But it is, this year has, like you said, I mean, there's been some horrible losses. Yeah. But no, I think we've had some good times in it. And we've learnt a lot.
We both got a caravan.
We did.
We both got a caravan in the same place, thanks to you, because I stayed in yours.
Yeah.
And then afterwards I got one.
Well, do you know what? Because we had this shop, and in March, this place obviously had to shut for the first lockdown. And we just had nothing to do.
No.
And we knew we couldn't go abroad.
Yeah.
And it was just, and we've always spoke about buying a caravan. Literally since the first sort of 6 months of us going out.
Yeah.
Let's buy a caravan. She's like, you can't afford to buy a coffee.
Yeah.
You know, and I get these great ideas. Yeah. It don't matter if I can afford them or not. I'll tell her these ideas.
Yeah, that's like me. Yeah.
Yeah. And then she'll go, shut up.
Your missus is the sensible one, like my missus, isn't it? You're the one that just goes off the rails.
Yeah. I've got you on one shoulder. And my wife on the other shoulder. Yeah. But it's, and I was just like, so we got to the time when it was like, right, this is the first and probably only time I'm ever going to get time to go away at a weekend.
Go and do it,
Same as you. You know, he was working all weekend.
Yeah.
So it was the first time that we had the chance to do it.
And they're great, aren't they?
Oh, mate, do you know what? I wouldn't change it for the world.
And do you know what, though? I wasn't like that. I was like, oh, no, I don't want a caravan holiday. I'm used to going abroad. I had a place abroad before, which I sold for the wedding. But my place, you know, I had one in Bulgaria, Sunny Beach. So I always wanted, like, abroad holidays, you know, stuff like that, Ibiza, this, that, and the other. And I was like, oh no, I'm not going to like it. But when I went down and I stayed in yours, I had the best time ever. Yeah. I loved it.
You've got more of my neighbours' numbers from that caravan.
Yeah, I know everyone.
I come down and they're like, how's Gary?
I loved it though.
You were there 4 days.
Yeah,
you know all my neighbours.
I know, I loved it. And I loved it. And that's like what we're saying about, you know, people coming together. I think a caravan park place like that is a perfect example.
Yeah.
Everyone makes the effort to say hello, how are you, all the rest of it. And the ironic thing about my one is the one that I bought, which is just up from you, the woman in front of me lives in Ruislip, and the one to the left lives in Uxbridge. So you go all the way to Bognor Regis, and then you've got locals.
Get away from the world and you know more people
but
there.
It's mental, And she works in, one of the ladies that has the one in front of us, works in Marks and Spencer's in Greenford. Okay. And when Victoria had finished work, she works down in Wembley, she stopped off at Greenford to get some bits. And then she bumped into her. And they were like, oh, it's from the caravan. And it's just nice, isn't it? But I do find it nice. And you go in the bar and everyone sort of knows everyone.
I love it.
And it's kind of like they make more of an effort to become friendly with you and get to know you when they know you've bought your caravan.
Have you noticed that? Yeah, I got that. Because the ones next door, so we've got one either side.
Yeah.
We've got an old couple next door to us.
Yeah.
And they're miserable as sin.
Yeah.
You know, I say good morning every morning, and they look at me like I've just shit in his roof.
Yeah, but the other side are lovely, isn't they?
Mate, they're the most beautiful family in the world.
She's lovely.
Love them, but they do, and they'll come out, and if they're having a drink at night, they'll come. You know, we're not being too loud.
Yeah.
If you was in Hayes, no one would give a toss. You know,
no one give a monkey.
They turn the music up if you.
But
they're so nice.
I think that's the thing about the caravan. Everyone respects everyone's bit of space and stuff.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
You know, but I love it, man.
Yeah.
I really do love it. But I did notice that because when we first went down, we stayed in yours and we made so many friends and friends. And then people go, "Oh, you haven't bought," and we're like, "No, we're just staying friends." Oh, it's a shame. And then and that's what started me thinking about it because I go, oh, you should really, you should get one down here. It's lovely down here. Yeah. But it was Victoria that had always wanted a caravan and had gone on so many caravan holidays as a kid and that. And I was the opposite. But in the end, it was me that drove her mad and said, I'm getting one.
Yeah. And you had it in your head and it was just...
Yeah, but like you, when you get something in your head, you just go with it. And I think, going back to what you said, I think lockdown is the reason for a lot of that. Because you've got more time.
We never would have thought, when would we have ever thought, let's get somewhere that we can have a little escape at the weekend?
Never.
Because my escape at the weekend was a few extra hours in bed before I had to go up and do a wedding or I had to go to Attic.
Yeah.
You know, and it was the first time I could sit back and even like sitting in with Mel in the evenings and going, do you know what, what film should we watch tonight?
Yeah, that's
Before it was like, we've got 28 minutes. I reckon we can get an episode of Tenable in before I go to work.
I think this will slow a lot of people down and stuff, and it will make people appreciate other people more. So, like going back to what we spoke about then, it's not all been bad. We know it's been a tough year and it's been a bad year. Lots of people have lost people and it's been awful. And I've seen it firsthand with my wife coming home, Patience, she's known for years and stuff. But there has been a lot of good things that have come out of the world, which I think sometimes you have to hold on to and remember. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's it. If we all, if you just remember the doom and gloom, then it's...
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but it's been a crazy year. But,
we
got
through it, mate. We got through it.
Yeah, on the up. And, like me, the caravan... YouTube stuff.
YouTube. You're a little YouTube star.
So all these things is something...
Wait there, I'm going to share it. I don't know if they can see the screen from the camera.
I would never ever have done anything like that.
Pretty face. Oh, it should be on there. Where is it?
I wouldn't go that far.
Gorgeous, mate.
But the YouTube thing is something that I kind of... Because I had so much time at home and I couldn't go to the games, I was a bit like, what shall I do?
Yeah.
And I was like, why don't I just start a YouTube channel? And I did. And do you know what? And off the back of that, being invited onto other YouTubers' channels was great.
Yeah.
And I loved it. And I don't mind, like I'm doing this. I did a similar thing the other week. And I was excited and I was nervous. And it's all those sort of things that you want to feel. You know what I mean? It was good. And I was on it for like nearly 2 hours. And Victoria loved it because she's sick and tired of hearing about Tottenham from me. So it was quite nice to talk about it and vent it, the good stuff and the bad stuff, to fellow Tottenham supporters. Do you know what I mean?
There's not many of you, though.
There ain't, no. And my wife being Chelsea, she's not interested. She's had all the trophies. They've got all the money.
I love social media when Chelsea are playing Tottenham. Yeah. Just to see the shit that you two put each other through.
Yeah, loads, mate. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Well, the last game, they beat us. Eric Dyer, who's awful. Penalty, bang. But the one before that was the Carabao Cup. And we went out on penalties. And I had to celebrate, but really quietly. And Victoria got the ump. And she'll say she didn't get the ump, but she'll say that she doesn't watch football as much as everything else. Yeah. But she does. When Chelsea's on, she does.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what happened. It was 1-1, and then it was extra time, and then I switched off, and I thought, nah, because we were playing terrible. I was like, no. And the next thing I know, I switched it back on, and they were talking about, because it came on Sky Sports News, Tottenham go through on penalties, and I was like, what?
Oh, did you not watch the penalties then?
No, but I watched them afterwards. But I had to celebrate, but one of those celebrations where you hold it in.
Like as if you're sat in the away end watching.
Yeah, because I couldn't celebrate too much because it'd be like I was rubbing it in her face. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
But I loved it. And I mean, you know, that was part of the journey getting to the Carabao Cup final, which we were in, which was nice. But yeah, in our house, when it's Chelsea-Tottenham, it's a difficult time. Normally when it's Chelsea-Tottenham, one of us just go out. But obviously because of the lockdown, there's not really anywhere you could go. So we had to suffer the last couple.
Are you going to win the Carabao Cup?
I think we will, I've said from the start, the start of the season, I predicted we'd finish 6th and we'll win the Carabao Cup. And we're already in the Carabao Cup.
Did you put a bet on it?
No, I didn't, because I don't bloody gamble. I wish I had of, though, But honestly, and I've said all the way through, and what people tend to forget, yes, Tottenham are terrible, yes, we're playing rubbish, but we are a little bit of a bogey team for Man City. They beat us earlier on the season, but we beat them as well. And we put them out of the Champions League, obviously, in the quarterfinals. And then also in the league game, they've missed penalties against us. VAR always goes against them. So we've got a good chance. And I am confident. And even on the channel last week when I was talking on the YouTube channel and stuff, they were laughing at me, because they were like, how can you be so confident? But I said, it's not that I'm confident. I've just got a feeling we can do it because it's just a one-off game. It's a cup final, it's one game. And if anyone can win you a cup, it's Jose Mourinho.
Yeah,
so there's a lot of anti-Jose, Jose and Jose. I'm Jose in, I like him. I like everything about him. I like his arrogance, I like his personality. I think he's great. A lot of people don't like it. He's like Marmite, isn't he? Like you said earlier. Yeah. But for me, I do really like him. And when Poch was sacked, it was weird because me and Victoria had spoken about this before Poch got the sack, and he was on Sky Sports News as a pundit, and he would not stop talking about Tottenham. And I said to Victoria, if Poch ever gets the sack or he ever leaves, I think Mourinho would end up being a Tottenham manager. And sure enough, the night Poch got sacked, the following morning,
you're like Psychic Steve, isn't you?
It's really weird because she woke me up and she went to me, babe, it's happened. And I went, what? She goes, Mourinho. And I went, no. And she went, he's the manager. And I went, you're joking me. And she went, honestly. And I was like, blimey. And I said then, we'd win the Carabao Cup and we'd get 6. And I still think we will. So, but we'll look back at this after April.
Yeah,
April the 25th is the cup final.
Right, yeah.
So maybe we'll do one following this one, and then we'll see if I was right.
We'll book you in for the end of May.
Yeah, but I predict now 6, and the Carabao Cup will win.
What do you reckon on England?
Do you know, it's a funny one with England because I think sometimes Southgate, he plays it a bit safe with players. I think he needs to be a bit more out of the box.
Do you know what? I agree. Did you watch the San Marino game?
Yeah, watched it, yeah.
So that's one of them games that you watch where you expect to see 9, 10, 14 goals. Yeah. And it was just a bit safe.
Yeah, it was a bit safe.
I wanted to see everyone booting it from 80 yards.
And he's got to make changes. He's got to get Grealish on. He's got to go for it. He's got to do all them players and he's got to change the formation. He always tries. But one thing I'm glad about, he dropped Eric Dyer because I thought to myself, why you got Eric Dyer in that team? He's been awful for Tottenham all season. But thankfully, he's dropped him. But he needs to do some of the young guns and stuff. No one expected nothing last time. We got to the semi-finals. Yeah, so anything can happen. You don't know. But with me in England, I love watching England. I always watch them. When we start getting a bit further in and you get to the quarters and then, you get to semis, you start believing. Then you start playing Vindaloo. Yeah. It's coming home. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, they let you down again. And it's a bit like Tottenham. So I'm kind of used to it.
Yeah,
But the only good thing at the moment is, apart from Harry Kane, you don't have many Tottenham players in the England team. There was at one point where we had 6 or 7 Tottenham players in that England team. And I think a lot of the time that was England's downfall. We were using too many Tottenham players because they don't win nothing. But, you know, we've got Harry Kane, and without him, we just don't want to get him to get injured. But World Cup qualifiers now, we're going to qualify, that's a certain. And then the Euros is next year. No, the Euros starts in July.
No, Euros is this year.
Is it June or July?
June the 12th.
Yeah, my days and months and years. Yeah, so I did see who we got and everything, but I can't remember off the top of my head now. But I think with that, there's no reason why we can't get a good run and go for it, you know. We just see what happens, innit, you know. Yeah. I'm like every other England fan. At first you're a bit like, oh, you know, and then you get a few wins and then you start believing, innit? Yeah. But maybe, you know, with everything that's happened this year and COVID and everything.
Weirder things have happened.
Yeah,
weirder things have happened, but
it can happen.
Yeah. So no, I'm excited. And World Cup 22. That's what we call. So we've got the tournament in June.
So we've got the World Cup qualifiers now.
Yeah.
Then we got the Euros.
Yeah.
And then we
go on to that. Yeah. So it's all a bit, because we've obviously had a year where everything's gone behind.
It's weird, isn't it? It's trying to work it all out. Yeah. It's crazy. Even in the Premiership, games were postponed and were stopped because of COVID, this, that, and the other. And then you have to replay games again and we're on different days, and it was all a bit confusing. Yeah. It's crazy. But for me, I've been grateful for the football. For me personally, because
do you know what? That football. Yeah. I think that saved a lot of men from. Yeah,
100%.
You know. Literally.
Yeah. Listen, you know, 2 big factors for me was the football, and we touched on it earlier, where our work completely stopped. And for me, when my work completely stopped, you know, I went from working every day to Friday, Saturday nights to nothing. It was football, and it was buying all the gym equipment to train in the garden, and then buying and selling gym equipment. And you just do what you did and what I did. You just think out of the box, and you just do something else.
That's it.
And you put your mind into it. You know what I mean? But that worked for me. But football was a massive thing for me. I think if there was no football and stuff, it would have been a lot more difficult. Yeah. Although I would have just looked at old games. I'd have gone back and just looked at loads of old games.
Yeah, that's it.
That's what I do.
Just been a
I still do that now. There's a point I always do when Tottenham lose, which is quite often. I always go back to a game where we've won.
Well, just like an upper and downer.
Yeah. So it helps with my mental health. Yeah. Because it saves me smashing the telly or losing it. So we'll lose, and then I'll remind myself of
going watch like the '82 Cup final.
Yeah, I've got to go quite far back. Yeah. Oh dear.
Bless. But while we're talking about football, so this is, if it works, Big G.
Oh,
where'd you get that name from?
Yeah, Big G is just something that's been said to me for years. It's always been my nickname, Big G. Yeah. And White Hart Pain is the obvious. It's just being a Tottenham fan.
You've explained that in the past 10 minutes.
Yeah, very painful. Yeah. But like I said, with this, I was doing the live watch-alongs and stuff, which I love. But then I realised quite quickly, I don't enjoy the live watch-alongs as much as I do enjoy talking about Tottenham afterwards. So this will now go from being the live watch-alongs to kind of chats and conversations with other Tottenham supporters, which will then go on to being not just Tottenham fans, but other supporters of other clubs and teams. Say we play Southampton, you get a Southampton fan on there, and vice versa. Yeah. But people can, if they can, give me a like and a subscribe. White Hart Pain. Find me on YouTube. I've probably got like 5 subscribers, you know.
No, you're doing.
I've got 1 or 2. But the big thing for me was being
17,000. No, 53. 53.
The big thing for me was being invited on that. Chris Callan's name was, and he's been a YouTuber for years. And just bizarrely, out of the blue, it was when we lost to Arsenal, so I was quite down. He just messaged me and he goes, "I see you got a YouTube channel. I would really love you to come on my channel and you could promote it and stuff." Yeah. And I was like, I remember it was Friday night. Victoria walked in the door and I went, and I've been watching this guy for 6-7 years on YouTube, every day religiously. Really? And out of the blue, he just messaged me. And then Sunday after the Aston Villa game, I was on there. Yeah. And it was weird, but I loved it. But that's what I like about lockdown and stuff. I think there's been a lot of spur of the moment things, and it's
all opportunities.
Yeah.
So much.
And I don't think if it wasn't for lockdown and stuff, YouTube, you know, even the radio, the podcast, everything else, the TV stuff, probably wouldn't be as big as what it is now.
No, not at all.
So you know, you just move with the times, isn't it, and stuff. So yeah.
No, you've done well, mate. You've done well. And we've got matching cars.
We've got matching cars.
That was your excuse for getting your caravan, copying me with a caravan. So I thought I'd be all like, look, he's got my... And then you was like, yeah, but remember that you got a white car.
Yeah, so actually, the story is we've got matching cars, private number plates, but not the same, obviously.
Not the same, because I wouldn't have a Spurs number plate.
You just went all out and had your name.
I just had my name.
Yeah, right. We did live on the same road, but we don't now.
You moved out. I moved in, you moved out.
Basically, yeah. So he should have got the message there, but he just can't get rid of him. And then you got the caravan. I stayed in your caravan, and I then went down and got a caravan myself.
Yeah.
So there's quite a few similarities there.
Yeah. We both work in clubs, but I keep me close.
Did you grow up in Uxbridge around here? Because I'm just I didn't. I grew up in Willesden. So I grew up in North West 10. So I grew up in Willesden, I was in Stonebridge, Harlesden, Ladbroke Grove for a little while, and then I moved out to Uxbridge in 98. Yeah. So people just assume I've always lived in Uxbridge because I know
you know everyone and everywhere.
Even when the postman, just very quickly, this last year with the postman now, I know absolutely everything about him. He's a big Man United fan. I know his daughter is misses everything else. When he does his round in Ruislip now, he finishes at mine so he can just talk football. And sometimes he's at that door for 45 minutes. And the other day, we went out of the Europa, that awful defeat where we needed one goal.
Oh, mate.
It was horrendous.
We won't talk about that.
Do you know what I did after that? I went upstairs, ran a bath, turned all the lights off and just laid in the bath for an hour. And that was my way of getting over it. And a couple of times Victoria came in just to check I was still alive. She was like, "You all right, baby?" I was like, "Yeah." She goes, "Do you want anything to drink or anything?" When I'm in the bath, I have ice lollies and Coke Zeros. I don't drink alcohol, don't take drugs. I like ice lollies and sweets. I said, "I don't need or want anything for an hour. I need to get over this in my own time." And funny enough, after I did that for an hour, I felt quite a lot better.
Yeah.
But so going back to the postman, so he watched that game, and whenever he sees Tottenham now, he thinks of me. Whenever I see Man United, I think of him. And the next day, he knocked on the door, right? Okay. And he went, "Oh, Gary." He went, I've got no post for you. But I got nothing for you today. But I just had to knock because I was saying it to my wife. And another thing is his wife is friends with you. And he knocked and he goes, "Oh, my wife was on Facebook and stuff. And you know Jon Blower, don't you?" And I went, "Yeah." And he went, "Oh, you're doing this podcast thing and stuff." And I went, "Yeah." She goes, "Yeah, my wife was telling me." And I went to her, "Oh, that's the football bloke I always talk to." So everyone sort of knows everyone. But he knocked on the door anyway and he went, "Oh, how did you go out?" And I went, "Yeah." And the funny thing is we've got one of those Ring doorbell things, that records and stuff. Yeah. So my wife has that at work on her phone, so she's in surgery. So anyway,
she could see you cuddling and crying the postman.
So he went, and then all I heard, "Bloody hell, you think someone died?" And I was like, "You've been on there talking to him for ages."
What, she was speaking to you on the phone?
Yeah, she's been watching me. And I went, "Yeah," and I was talking to her on the camera, and she goes, "Did any post come?" I went, No post. He just knocked to grieve with me. He genuinely was upset and worried for me though. Because I think a lot of things can be magnified when you're in lockdown as well. This is what I tried to explain to my wife. It's not just a football game because we're in lockdown at the moment. So I'm holding on to Tottenham. So when Tottenham win, my
everything goes up.
Yes. So when they lose, everything is worse. But it was funny, and he knocked yesterday, and we had a chinwag and stuff, and we were talking about obviously the Euros and everything else. So, but he said a similar thing to me. He goes, England. I don't really get into it as much as the Premiership. I said, I'm kind of like that to a certain extent. But I said, what I find is once England get through a few games, which they will, and then the Euros start, and we get a little bit further, it brings everyone together, doesn't it?
Do you know what?
More so than teams, because it's all one thing combined,
I used to do the Crock of Gold in Ruislip.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I used to do there for the football, and I tell you, that was... I've played at Wembley Stadium, I've played at Twickenham, I've played all over the world.
Everywhere.
My best gig I've ever done was the the quarterfinals of the last World Cup that we were in.
Oh God, yeah.
Playing there, and I remember. So I was literally.
Was that the penalties?
Screen,
was that you had the big
screen here.
I wish I was there. I wish I was only down the road watching it in Ruislip as well.
Mate, that was literally the best ever gig of my life. It was as if World War II had just ended.
Because
amazing, amazing.
We'd never won on penalties before that. We just kept losing over and over. I'll tell you what I did to that. I watched that at home with Victoria and Jake, my little stepboy. And what I'd done is I turned the volume down on the TV for the penalties, and I ramped up my speaker, and I was playing Vindaloo.
Oh, really?
And It's Coming Home. Song after song after song. And then there's a video of me doing it because she went Facebook Live. And so I was watching the penalties, and it was such great timing because when the last one was done and we'd won it and everything else, it dropped into Vindaloo and I had it full blast. And we come out onto the road and all the neighbours come out onto the street. You can't beat
Mad,
it,
wasn't it?
You can't. And maybe this will be the year. You don't know. Let's hope so, innit? Wouldn't it be lovely though after everything that's happened? If we did win it.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
Yeah. Oh, mate. Oh. Britain has done great in lockdown is garden parties or street parties.
Oh,
we were celebrating, we were having street parties for things that no one gave a shit about 2 years ago. It's the Queen's birthday.
Yeah.
But last year you was telling me that we shouldn't have a Queen, and this year
I've got another Amazon delivery.
Let's
have a party.
Get the speakers out and make some cupcakes.
I got some toilet roll out of Aldi. Let's have a party.
Exactly.
It's great,
exactly.
Isn't it? Absolutely great. But do you know what? When I was growing up as a kid, when I was very young, that was a common thing. Street parties. I remember when I was a kid, we used to have sports day on my road.
Oh, really?
And back then there was probably only half a dozen cars on the road. And we used to corn off the road and we'd do sports days up and down. All the neighbours would come out. And in a weird sort of way, it's gone back to that now.
Yeah, we've gone full circle.
Because I think when we've moved forward stuff, especially, going into 90s and into noughties and stuff, people were very busy like we spoke about and they keep themselves. But with lockdown, it's not like people have been forced into it, but maybe in a sort of way they have. Yeah. Not that they don't want to do it, but they find themselves coming out making friends.
Even in my flats, there's the woman that lives next door.
Yeah.
She's single, she's on her own.
Yeah.
The guy that lives the other side of me, he's single, he's not single, but he don't live with his missus.
Yeah.
Just in case he's watching, or in case his missus is watching and goes, "Oh, Dale, did you tell him
we got you back, Dale? We got you back, Dale, don't worry."
Sorry. But do you know what I mean? And them sort of people, because they were going out to work during the day, they didn't give a shit about what June was doing upstairs or whether but now because they've been stuck in 18 hours a day, they will. They're even just that popping up, or if I see people crossing in the car park, how are you, or good morning.
Well, I did a thing where I've got like all the garden chairs, and there's one garden chair now where you come into my back garden that religiously stays there and it hasn't moved in a year. And that chair is the chair that I stand on to talk to my neighbour over the fence. And when lockdown first started, Faye, her name is, when lockdown first started, her husband was still working, he worked on the railways. So he was still doing night shifts, day shifts and everything else. And for that year, she was doing childcare, everything stopped for her. And we helped each other as much because every day I'd get up, she'd hear me in the garden, I'd get up on that chair. And sometimes we'd be up there talking and chatting away about anything and everything, like what we're doing now. But it made such a difference through that lockdown because there was times where I was just indoors on my own, no one. And she was the same, you know what I mean? So for us, but that chair has stayed there now and will always stay there because even today I was up on that chair talking to Vinny, who's her husband, and I was just chin-wagging over the fence and stuff. And that's the difference. That is the difference, you know what I mean? So it's good, it's good.
It's wicked, mate, it's wicked.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But no. Right, Gary, I think our time is up, mate. Although I know that if I mention just one word, we could go on for another 6 hours.
Do you know what? We haven't even touched that. We'll have to do probably 3 or 4 more.
Mate, do you know what? If all else fails, we could just do the John and Gaz podcast show. Don't worry about any other guests,
I told you, we just talk and talk. We did covered a few things.
Do you want to know what the next thing on my list was?
Go on, what was it?
Stuff that shouldn't exist, cat lickers.
Yeah, well...
Because what it was, I saw... because I just wanted to get some backup bits, just in case, not that it was ever going to... I knew that we would smash an hour without even looking at a list. But I saw on Twitter last night, it was trending, hashtag stuff that shouldn't exist.
And one of them was cat lickers.
One of them was cat lickers.
Well,
and it's literally a rubber thing in your mouth.
Well, it's funny you bring up cat lickers, and it's probably... It's funny you did bring that one up because I don't know if you know this, but I'm absolutely obsessed with cats and I love cats. Did you know for my birthday last year, I went to the Cat Cafe in London?
Did you?
Yeah.
Does it stink?
No.
Me and Mel saw it and I said, I'd love to go there, but I bet it stinks.
It doesn't stink. It's in East London. And Victoria, my wife, bought it for me because I absolutely love cats. I'll get onto cats in a minute, but I love them. I absolutely love them. For me, dogs, cats is cats all day long. I've got nothing against dogs. I just really like cats. And I like cats because they're kind of like low maintenance and they're independent and they kind of got that I don't really care attitude. And I sort of like that with cats. But we went to the Cat Cafe. And it would be some people's nightmare. And you're sitting there and you have ham and cheese toasty, and you get your side of like Diet Coke, and Victoria had whatever wine normally. She drinks a lot. She drinks a lot. Don't drink a lot, really. Cut that out. This is a running joke we have. She'll kill me for it.
It's no edit. It's unedited, this, mate. It's unedited.
And so we're eating and we're drinking, and there's just cats walking around, but also there's like almost a fun fair for cats in there. So and I'll tell you, I learned something that day in the cat thing, which I now do with my cat, which I never knew. But there was a wheel. Do you know like the hamster wheel? Do you know, but there's one for cats.
Really?
And the cats are running around the wheel, and I'm like this. I'm going to Victoria.
We need to get a cat wheel.
And the cat's like this, and they're running 100 miles an hour. And one cat jumps off, another cat comes off. And I thought that alone was worth coming to this cat, to this cafe. It was brilliant. But very quickly, I'll tell you another thing. So anyway, so there's obviously people working there and they come around and they tell you what the name of the cats are and where they've got them and this and that, blah, 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 you know. A lot of them have been like strays and they've brought them in and, you know, all that sort of stuff. But there was this one particular cat there and she kept tapping him on his bum. So like...
What, the woman was tapping him?
Yeah, right. Like boom, boom, boom. And then he was like going one way, going the other. And I thought, what's she doing? So I thought, be me, I got to ask. I said to her, why do you keep hitting the... And she goes... It's really weird, but we just found out with this cat, and not all cats, but some of them like their back end by where their back is in their bum to be tapped.
Really?
And it makes them really playful and stuff, you know, and go crazy. So I was like, oh, right. So there's been lots of things about cats, okay? Sometimes I think it's a banana, if you put a banana there and the cat turns around, he jumps, right?
Really?
Didn't work with our cat, right? Didn't work. There's another thing, if you put a tape around or a square and you draw a line, cat goes in it. Didn't work with our cat, right? Didn't work. Our cat's bipolar. So 1 minute our cat is fine, next minute he goes mental. Our cat, you can't stroke. If you go to stroke our cat and you stroke maybe one too many times, he will go for you like he did there this morning. But let me tell you what happened. So bizarrely, absolutely crazy, right? I decided to, which was a risk, to tap.
What, tap your cat's ass?
Yeah, Binks' ass. I thought I'd tap it. And he absolutely loves it.
Oh, really?
And so when you do it, he flips on his back and flips over, and then he just like paws goes like this, he goes crazy, and you flip again, then he goes the other way. And we do this for about 5-10 minutes, and he absolutely loves it. And what it does, it changes his whole temperament. So he's still a bit of a sod, and he's still bipolar, and 1 minute he's fine, next minute he'll go for you. But this is something that we do every day, 5, 6, 7, 8 times a day. And I think it could be 1 in 100 cats that likes it, and the others will make absolutely no, not interested. But as soon as you do it, you can tell how much fun he's having, how much he enjoys it by the expression on his face. It's the great. So whenever anyone comes around and they're saying, "Oh, a cat," and I'll go, "Watch this," and then I've only got to do this silly baby, I go, little baby voice. Boom, he drops, okay? So as soon as I go, like that, boom, he like plays dead.
That's brilliant.
Okay? And then I go and tap him, and as soon as I tap him, he'll go, like that crazy, like he's going like proper mental, yeah? And then he'll flip over, and this will go on for 10 minutes. I would never have known that if I hadn't gone to the cat cafe.
Yeah.
It's just strange. Really absolutely bonkers, but yeah, I just thought I'd share that.
Cool. So yeah, tap your cat's arse and see how it goes.
Yeah, tap a cat's arse, and you never know what you'll get.
And that's I think that's a perfect place to end.
I think it is,
tapping a cat's arse, from cocks to cats' arses.
Yeah, cats to pussies to all sorts.
Yeah. Mate, do you know what? Thank you so much.
No, I loved it.